Hey everyone, this is Pig for Life, and in today's Transformers video review, we'll be taking a look at Hasbro's Transformers Generations Combiner Wars Autobot Windcharger. This is the Legends class figure from the first wave. And let's get started with packaging review. You can see that we get a nice image of Windcharger at the top here, but it's actually, again, I've been saying this for most of the line, they've been using very low quality images for the packaging this first wave, and I really don't know why. The only ones that I can kind of remember being not that bad or pixelated are the Legends class Bombshell and Thundercracker. But anyway, we do also get a nice view of Windcharger from the front. You see his bio card that's included with the rest of the Combiner Wars series. You can actually see it in the back as well. Alright, turning around to the back, we do see Windcharger in both robot and alt mode. You get a very short bio, I guess, on the top left. It's only one sentence. And you also see that the figure transforms in 10 steps. Alright, so that's really it for packaging review. Let's go ahead and get Windcharger open and start the review. So here we have Windcharger out of packaging, and he does come with a few other things. He does get an art card, so no stats or anything, just the back has the Transformers Generations logo. And you can see that he looks very different on the artwork than he does in this figure itself. So this, while this doesn't look like a very good representation of Windcharger either, neither does this figure. So it's kind of interesting that they chose this artwork with this figure. The other thing you get with this figure, as with all Transformers, is a set of instructions. So you get both robot to alt, and on the other side you get alt to robot. But you're watching this video, so you really don't, you can just throw this away. You don't need that. Superfluous. So as far as robot mode reviews goes, let's go ahead and do head sculpt first. And his head sculpt looks very Windcharger. It looks, I don't know why, to me he looks like this, but he looks like he has kind of a smile going on. And that's how I always kind of pictured Windcharger. But, I mean, objectively, just looking straight at it, it looks, I guess, supposed to be like a straight face. But I don't know why he looks like he's kind of smiling to me. I don't know. But it's a pretty good head sculpt. I think that's the one part of him that looks, you know, very much like Windcharger. Everything else is definitely Tailgate-ish, especially ITW Tailgate. So this is a remold of Tailgate. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but so a little bit of history. The G1 toy, I believe, Windcharger was the original mold, and Tailgate was a remold of Windcharger for the G1 toy, and they were both Pontiac Trans Ams, but they did look quite different in the series. And in the IDW comics, they also look quite different, but Windcharger plays a much smaller role than Tailgate in the series. So they actually took Tailgate as the original mold, which we got earlier, and they made him a remold. So I kind of like that they switched around who was the original mold and who was a remold. I kind of like that throwback and kind of nod to the original G1 toy line. Anyway, the only difference really is the head sculpt. Let's go ahead and go into articulation. So I didn't realize this at first, but he does actually have head articulation. It's on this entire section here, but it does rotate around a bit. So you can get about 45 degrees to each side. As far as his shoulders, he actually has a couple pieces of articulation. So he has a ball joint here, but he also has this hinge, so you can get him to go up like that. He looks kind of funny if you do that, but it does give you some additional freedom of movement. There is a lot of interference just because he has such big shoulders and he has such a big backpack. So you do get a lot of interference, but since the backpack is articulated, you can move it out of the way for whatever poses you want. His ball jointed elbow allows him to bend but also twist. He doesn't have waist articulation, just from the way he transforms. And he does have the ball jointed thigh, or hip if you want to call it the hip. Again, because of these big side pieces, you don't get the full use of that unless you kind of, you know, mess around with it and partially transform him to get those clearances out of the way. He does have a ball jointed knee, so he does get a nice knee bend, and he can swivel around. And then for toe articulation, his whole foot is on a really soft ratchet that can go forward and back. Alright, so that's really it for articulation. I didn't do it before, so let's just do a quick 360 of this guy. So again, he just has a lot of car pieces just thrown onto him on the shoulders. The entire top of the car and back of the car is on his back. The side pieces are on his thighs. His forearms just have the side door panels underneath. So not a really clean mold, to be perfectly honest. I wish they did a little bit more, but it's legend size, so I feel like since I don't collect a lot of legends, I can't really judge it that well. I would have expected a little bit better, but legend size, so I think this is probably par for the course. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong there. Again, this is really not the area I really collect. But let's go ahead and transform him from robot to alt. So he's pretty easy, just a little finicky in some areas. So the first thing we'll do is go ahead and rotate the arms 90 degrees so that the side panels align with the front part of, or side part of the shoulders. Next thing we'll do is point the toes. So just get that folded all the way back as far as you can. You're going to want to rotate these hip pieces. You're going to want to rotate the legs inwards like so. And this is kind of all just getting in preparation for pegging everything together. You want to go ahead and pull the backpack down and peg that in there, or tab that in right there. And now you can pull down the hips. So when you pull the hips down, just spread the legs out and just get them around that tailpipe section and get them kind of faced like this so they're 90 degrees out. Then you're going to go ahead and pull up on the shoulders and tab into two front pieces of the car. With that, you can rotate the legs into place. And this is where it just kind of gets kind of finicky. You just need to make sure you have all the tabs in all the right places. On both sides. Alright. And then last but not least, you have slots in the front of the foot, which you can barely see here, and small tabs there that you're just going to peg into. Alright, and you still see Windcharger's face up there. But there we go, we have Windcharger in alt mode. And it's a pretty clean alt mode. You do still have the big tailpipe section, which sits really far on the back. And I don't know exactly what this alt mode is supposed to be, or if it's supposed to be a real car, but that just looks kind of funny to me. You still have the hole in the top here that was from Tailgate and his Target Master, which I honestly don't remember who he came with. He does have 4 plastic wheels that are all pinned and can freely roll. So he does roll really well. And the underside is, you know, what you would expect. A bunch of legs and a face down here. Not a lot is hidden, but it's actually a pretty good, pretty fun figure for the legend size. Alright, let's go ahead and get this guy quickly transformed back into robot mode. So Alter Robot, the first thing you want to do is just kind of untab all this section on this side panel, side back panel. That just allows you to just transform the legs down. So you want to get the legs pulled down like so. Let me rotate the camera up a bit. Then we're going to go ahead and unpeg the front of the car, pull it down. While you're at it, you can just rotate the arms forward, come around back, pull up the top of the car so it comes up on that arm and pegs into, well, not pegs in, but kind of sits into place there. Then you're going to want to spread the legs so that they go around those tailpipes again and peg that into place. So there's a small tab and slot where you do that. Just rotate the legs forward, point the feet out correctly, and then rotate the side panels. You can keep it down like that if you want, but official transformation is to have the wheels facing forward. And with that, we have Tailgate back in robot mode. So final thoughts on Windcharger. Oh, I think I called him Tailgate. I apologize if I called him Tailgate earlier. Windcharger back in robot mode. So final thoughts on Windcharger is that he's a pretty decent reuse of the mold. Again, I like the fact that they kept the whole sane mold, remold relationship between Windcharger and Tailgate. But I do think that it's a much more of a stretch because we do see Windcharger in the comics, the IDW comics, and he doesn't look like Tailgate at all. So I do still like that they brought him out. I don't know why he's really part of the Combiner Wars series, but maybe he'll fit into some places at the Combiner Wars series. Alright, I do think he's probably worth picking up if you're a fan of the IDW comics, and if you're a fan of the Tailgate mold. He is that same mold. He could use a little bit more work in terms of not just being pieces of the car, shell of the car added on everywhere, but I think I'm just being a little bit judgmental just because Legends class is not what I normally would collect and review, so I'm probably being a little bit too harsh for, you know, a $10 figure. That said, you are getting a little bit less. I mean, this is a remold of Tailgate, and Tailgate did come with a Target Master of some sort. He has no weapons at all. I wish they gave him something. I know he's in the IDW comics, he has like that magnetic field that he can generate, but it'd be nice if he had a gun as well. Alright, so if you want to pick up Windcharger for your collection, you can click on the Toy Dojo link in the description below. If you liked the review, please give it a thumbs up and share with your friends. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them in the comment section below. And as always, to keep up to date with my video reviews and news, you can go ahead and click on the subscribe button right here. Alright, I think that's all for today, everyone. Have a good one.